What does it mean to live life to the fullest, train to your potential, and perform at your best?
Leave nothing on the table. That's a non-negotiable, is that I strive to be better every day. Because if I'm not on top of my game, how is anybody else going to follow me down the road?
Keep demanding more of yourself to live up to that potential and to stay hungry.
Training is progress. You know, when I look at the word training, I think of steps, baby steps to get somewhere that you want to be. And that is basically your life journey.
It's a mindset in itself, man. It's like, it's not just about, I know that for you, a lot of that's about the physical, but we're constantly in training, whether it's growing our skill sets, whether it's growing our physical bodies, whether it's growing our relationships, whatever. And all of that's a training ground. And that kind of goes back to the mindset that we just talked about.
You underestimate yourself and you don't even start. But then once you start, you often surpass what you thought you could do.
Perform at your best, mate. That's sort of what life is all about. You know, I want to have the knowledge, I want to have the fitness, the health, the ambition and drive that no matter what comes along, when that next phone call comes, I can just say yes. I don't have to worry. Just go and do it.
Hey guys, welcome to this Coach's Corner episode with my man Adrian Allen. This was a roughly 90-minute conversation that I've split up into 3 installments. Part 1 was all about his journey into the fitness industry and becoming a coach. And then from transitioning from Thailand through Bali back to Australia. The second episode was diving a little bit deeper in some of the lessons that he's learned during that transition, where he changed locations, changed demographics, and how he had to change his coaching style. And in this third episode, he gives a lot of examples on what that transition looked like and how he's implemented all of these tools that we speak about in the first 2 episodes into his life currently. Let's get this episode underway.
Values were never anything from a couple of years ago that I would have had even the tools to know about this, but through doing the 10-day mastery course, it came up. We were told about the values. I let it skip. I heard it again. I let it skip. And then one day a girl asked me, what are my values? And I was giving her like this idea in my head. And she was like, do you have them written down? And I was like, I don't. So I went away and it was actually John D. Martini's one, has a free find your values, and it's in depth. And yeah, so I did that again. And you know, again, you have to do the work. You answer the questions, the awkward, difficult questions. And you know, even if you had 3 values and you lived with those values, and you know, and it's, yeah, you live by those, well then everything else around it will flourish for you. And it was something that I like, it was only till this year and I've had the chance to do this kind of work that I would never have had those, tell you the truth, you know. So it's never too late for people. Don't think just because we're talking about it that we've been doing it for years, you know. You're not missing out, you're just being given a chance to do it now, you know. So if anyone's here, is that, like, you know, it's never too late. Just write it down, and yeah, that goes for a lot of things, really. You know, it's never too late to start.
100%, man. You know, how many people can sit in a room alone in silence? And that's what it takes, bro. That's what it takes, man. You need to be comfortable in your own fucking head. And we live in this society where we're constantly distracted, you know, and until you are able to sit in silence and not reach for your phone, or not have music playing, or not have a podcast going, or, you know, have these external fucking distractions that is drawing your attention, like, until you're able to do that or willing to do that, like, nothing's going to fucking change in your life. And having those values is extremely important. So powerful, man, because when you know what your values are, then every fucking decision that you make is going to be in line with those values. You say yes to the things that fit with your values, and you say no to the fucking things that don't fit with your values. And that just makes, and that, you know, that takes hard decisions. But when you make hard decisions, it makes your life easy. When you make easy decisions, that makes your life hard.
Oh yeah, and like, this was the one thing that it say, we'll just on the values thing there again, is like being a people pleaser. For instance, a friend of mine rang me the last day and he was like, you want to go to this event that's on Thursday night, me and the boys are going. And straight away I said yes again. And next thing, 20 minutes later, I was like, that's a drinking session. It's on the middle of the week and it's going to set me up for failure. And I was like, you are not living to your values of like showing up every day like I said I would now at the start of the year for myself and for others. And I rang him back 20 minutes later. I was like, look, I'm not going to go to that. I'm sorry. You know, and it sounds if you avoid your friends over everything, but if it's not going to line, it's a hard thing to do, to tell your friend that you're not going to go to an event that they want to. But I'm getting good at saying no now. That's the truth. And stop being a people pleaser. And that's what a lot of people need to do as well, is stop trying to live other people's values, because that's exactly what it is. Everyone has different values. You want to align with yours. Yes, there needs to be a middle way. If you have a partner, if the two of you have different values, you need to find that middle section where it keeps you happy. But I think, something so simple and understanding your values will take you a long way.
Let's dive into that a little bit deeper, man, because I think this is a very intriguing conversation. How has your life changed since you actually wrote down your values? You sat down with yourself and you had a look in the fucking mirror and you said, what are the values that I want to live by? How's your life changed?
Yeah, it definitely has improved it, and there is a lot more work to do. But like I said, you get this written down, and then you see what it is that you're doing. And like we said, we keep getting those same messages, and the more you live by the values, like we said, it will be, and it is all new to me as well. So when people say, oh, these guys have been doing it forever, we haven't. We're just still trying to figure it out, what works. And, we do have the difficult conversations with people when our values aren't being aligned, and it is difficult to say no, but I know what's now making me happy. The last the last 9 months have taught me what it is that makes me happy. And if something doesn't make you happy, you shouldn't be doing it, for yourself, that is. And like I said, when it comes to relationships, there has to be a middle ground, obviously. I'm fortunate enough, I am single, you know what I mean? I haven't had much relationship experience, I'll put it that way. I've had a small bit, I've touched on it a small bit, but it is. But it's just great to hear when you do hear other people speak about relationships, and you listen to them, because they've been through it already. So.
Let's tie back into what we're talking about with the vision board and creating those routines and habits around that. So you touched on your morning routine. Can you give some examples of what your morning routine looks like? Yeah, and, so I suppose and potentially how it's changed over time.
Yeah, well, how it has changed over time is there was never a routine in the first place. It was always a case of I would get up out of bed and I would go straight to work. I would never do anything for myself, tell you the truth. I thought going to do the job I loved was me doing something for myself. But since I've come here now, you hear the analogy of filling your own cup up, or fill your own cup before you can fill other people's. And that has honestly stuck with me, because there has been times in the last year, plenty of times really, where I just haven't felt myself, my happy, bubbly self. And I'm like, what is wrong? And again, that's me not living by my values and being down at the bottom of that peak. So what I realized was that, okay, I need to do stuff for myself before I do anything in the morning. So getting up that little bit earlier, you know what I mean? You have to get up that little bit earlier. I'll have a 500ml bottle of water beside the bed. I'll drink that first thing in the morning, because all good engines, need oil. Your car needs to be, Teslas might have a different story. They mightn't use oil, but from before, you just drinking water first thing in the morning, because we've spent 8 hours in bed, we are dehydrated. Have that bottle of water first thing in the morning. Then I'll do my journaling in the morning is very quick. It's just what do I need to do, what will I do today that will bring me happiness. That's one thing. Then my 3 priorities and 3 things I'm grateful for. So again, the 3 things I'm grateful for, and then are the priorities we touched on. 3 things I'm grateful for are simple, I'm grateful for having a bed to sleep in. I'm grateful for having a toothbrush that I can brush my teeth. Again, it's just becoming grateful for the simple things that we take for granted. So that's another thing. And then I might just jot down any thoughts or ideas that I kind of have in my head that I need to get out of my head. And then I use Insight Timer. I got Insight Timer. I actually paid for it this year, because I felt I had done enough the last year to be okay, I can be a little bit more serious now. I understand the value of it. Because before, if I had bought it last year, it'd just be another subscription that I need to pay for, and I not make use of it. So Insight Timer, they have 600 courses. I'm on a 30-day morning mindfulness challenge at the moment, which is great. So every day, 10 minutes, and it's only 10 or 12 minutes. So it's kind of it's not setting yourself up for failure.
And that kind of keeps you accountable, right? Because you said you're on a 30-day streak or something.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to keep it alive, and it's just a good way of doing it. And then the journaling, and then basically I'm very fortunate. We have a group here called the Human Excellence Project, which I try to get down to every morning. That's at 6 a.m. I was down there this morning. We're a group of people that meet up down in a place called Hillary's. We go swimming, jumping in the morning. Now the water's very warm at the moment, so the challenge is only trying to get up out of bed, tell you the truth. They do breath work and meditation on Monday and Wednesday, and in the weekends, it's like very family orientated. We had like floaties down in the river. We do things together. We're in a group, and like it's a group of people outside of the gym where everyone is different, and it's great just to go there, have a hug each other, and then jump in the sea and have a coffee and have a chat. Be there till maybe 8 o'clock. I'd be there longer if I could. Some people head off to work, and it's great to see those people that are working full-time jobs being there for themselves before they go do anything else, you know, because they do have jobs. And yeah, that kind of basically sets me up for the morning, not having the phone in the room, don't check anything. I'm very fortunate I don't really have to answer to anyone at the moment, so I don't look at my phone until after 10 o'clock, which is great. So yeah, the Insight timer is the only thing that gets turned on, and then everything else, the apps are off. The Wi-Fi can be off, but the Insight timer is the only thing I leave on, so that when I do bring the phone in, that's it. Like, and yeah, you know, have your breakfast, eat well, and then that just sets you up for the rest of the day, basically.
Oh, dude, what an awesome way to start your day, man. And that's something I talk about a lot. I post on social media. I've spoken about this numerous times on the podcast is, you know, so many people, their alarm is, or their phone is their alarm, and that's sitting right next to their fucking head charging. And you know, their alarm goes off in the morning, they reach over, they turn the alarm off, they snooze. I'm like, I've never understood that. I'm like, just get the fuck out of bed. But you know, and then they scroll through social media, they answer emails, and it's like you're literally starting your day being reactive to other people's shit rather than being proactive and, like you said, filling your own cup.
And this is it, like opening your phone first thing in the morning is like letting 10,000 people into your bedroom before you even had a chance to think. And when I first heard that, I was like, awesome. Imagine open your door and you have 10,000 people, like 10,000 people you might not like, trust me. Be lucky if you get one person into my bedroom, but like, yeah, it's like having 10,000 people in your room where you haven't even woken up yet. Like, oh my God. So like, yeah, I'm probably on it. I'm not even joking or floating my own boat here, but like about 60 days of having no phone in that bedroom. And like you said, the alarm clock, my sister had an alarm clock in her room. She wasn't using it. I was like, give me that alarm clock. And it's set for the same time every day. So there's no playing with it. There's no hitting the snooze button. Like you're up and you're done. Like, yeah. What a great investment. Great way to start the day, man.
What about like a nightly routine? Do you have a routine that prepares you for bed as well?
Yeah, well, I suppose my nighttime routine, it is not as good as my morning routine, which it could be better, you know. So I try to turn my phone off at 8 o'clock because I try to be in bed. Try to be in bed for 10 o'clock. So it gives me, turn off the phone, whatever I have to do. If I'm watching television for an hour or something, I might do that. But I always try to call one person in the evening time. So again, we're in part time. I'm 8 hours ahead of Ireland. So if I make a phone call at 8 o'clock at night time, it gives me, it's 12 o'clock in the day at home. So I always try and make one phone call home to family or friends. That's something I've really become a lot better at doing as well. Then having the phone off, leave the phone on charge, not in the bedroom. Make sure that everything that you have, the journaling in the evening time, PM, for my PM prompts, it's like what worked today, what were my 3 wins, 3 wins. Who did I call? Because the call is a big one. And then what did I learn? Or what was, there's another section in that, and it's like, what was today's magic moment? So every day is filled with magic moments, and it's just good to remember, like, for every day. You might feel like you've had a bad day, but there is one part of that day that would have been good. You might have got something done. Again, it doesn't have to be life-changing. It just needs to be something that fills you with like, okay, there was a magic moment in today, and they are everywhere.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, you will find whatever you're looking for. And if you're looking for shit in your life, you're going to find shit. And I think it's important for people to look for positives in fucking everything. And I did a 30-minute podcast on Reflect to Project, where I basically reflected on my 2020, and I had some people in my life die, and some other unfortunate circumstances that happened throughout the year. But I took a positive out of every one of those, and I had to fucking look for them. I didn't just, those things didn't make me feel great, but I had to go and find something that I was like, all right, well, that's really shit, but, there's got to be a lesson in this somewhere. What can I extract from that? And I think that's really important. And doing that every day, I think that's really fucking powerful, man. The Stoic philosophers talk about You know, people aren't affected by the events of certain circumstances. They're affected by their reaction to those events and not knowing how to deal with those things. And, you know, what you just said about reflecting on the day and looking for things to be grateful for, I think that's really fucking powerful, man. Is there anything you want to add to that? Or can you talk about like your experience adding that into your life and how that's affected your mindset?
Oh, 100%. And it is the reflecting on these things. And for instance, say I got a speeding fine a couple of weeks ago, and what do 99% of people do when they get a speeding fine? You get it in the mail. It goes on the fridge for like a fucking month until the last day that you have to pay for it. And I'm like, you just have to tell yourself that you were speeding. You shouldn't have been speeding. You pay the fine because it might actually be a lesson to you that, you know, you could save yourself or someone else's life, you know, and that is the truth. And like, as bad as it is to pay a $200 fine here in Australia compared to 10 euros for not wearing your helmet in Thailand, maybe, you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, you do have to take the positives from that. And like, I've seen it, like I've just seen people lose their absolute shit, and we're all guilty of it, you know, where we absolutely freak out over a certain situation that happens in our life or happens to us. And it could be something so small. And, you know, it's how you react to those things. But if you just take a deep breath in and relax, kind of process it for a second or two, hopefully that will calm you down, because overreacting to something, whatever the situation is, you know, probably isn't going to turn out the way you want it to turn out, and probably just going to lead to a bigger argument with someone or whatever the case may be. So just taking a step back, understanding why this is happening to you, you know, because things happen to everyone, and it is how we react to those situations. And yeah, it's hard to do, but again, it will stand to you once you do take a step back. And if it comes to the case of you come back at night time and you write about it and something that happened during the day, you probably see that like maybe it could have been your fault is why that situation had happened in the first place. And you kind of have to sit back and go, oh shit, I'm sorry. And like it happens. Like I say to myself here, to give you perspective on it, like me and my sister living together, we're the same age, and at times over the year it's been very difficult. And I realised after a lot of arguments that maybe I just wasn't a good active listener. I wasn't actually listening to what she was trying to say to me sometimes, and that was pissing her off. And I always thought that she was the one that had the problem, when it was actually the fact that I wasn't listening to her when she was probably trying to say something to me or make conversation. And once I realised that, like I was a bit, as you would be, like, shit, what an arsehole I am. But like, you know, it's like you have to learn from these lessons. And you know, actively listening to someone when they're speaking to you has been a big help to me over the year, and I will hopefully continue to be a better listener, whether it's family or friends, whatever the case may be.
That's a great point, man. And this is something that I'm realizing the more I'm doing this podcast. And, you know, I'm doing this podcast for selfish reasons. Like, I'm not monetizing, I'm not selling anything. You know, it cost me fucking, you know, couple of $1,000s to get this podcast up and running, and you know it takes me hours and hours every week to record, edit, upload, etc. But what it does for me is it allows me to grow, and I get to speak to people like you, and you know it forces me to listen because I want to fucking understand what you're saying, so then we can dive into extract lessons from certain things and things like that. And you know there's a difference between hearing something and actually listening. Yeah.
And that goes for, I suppose, as well, when we think about multitasking. You're like, oh, I want to listen to an audiobook. A lot of people will say, oh, I listen to an audiobook because it's a lot easier than reading a book. But the truth is, you listen to your audiobook while you walk down the road, and there's cars coming past you, and there's distractions, there's people, you're saying hello. And like, truthfully, as much as I love audiobooks, it has made me realize that I can't be doing these two things at once. If I want to read, I need to be sitting in my bedroom with my book, you know, and that's probably one thing that I do before bed is read as well, because even if it's just 5 pages, I will read it, and I will take, you know, I'm not having the phone in the room, so that's that distraction gone. But definitely, like, for me, and you know what you're saying about podcasting, you're a host of a podcast, you have to actively listen to what the other person is saying, or else the communication will be lost. And that goes both ways, and that's something I've learned as well, certainly when I have more of a conversation with people, is that, you know, you do become a better listener.
And that ties into becoming a good coach as well. Like, it's all about communication, but communication is not just speaking. It's not just telling. It's about listening as well and going, all right, what is this person telling me? because what people say and what they actually mean might be two different things. And kind of going way, way back to what we were talking about earlier with, you know, as you get more and more clients and you figure out that, you know, different people need different things. Like, this is one of the reasons why I did my NLP practitioner course, my neuro-linguistic programming, was because, you know, I would get these clients come in and they would tell me one thing, and then I'd take them on that journey. I'd structure a training program, I'd give them a nutrition plan, I'd start taking them down that path, and then I'd soon realize that, you know, what they were saying and what they actually meant weren't quite the same thing. So I had to educate myself on, you know, these other modalities that was actually going to help make me a better coach as well. Yeah. Is there anything like that in your coaching journey that you've noticed, you know, working with people and then realizing that there might have been a gap somewhere that you needed to fill?
Yeah, well, certainly I feel, you know, as well as my journey, that over, especially with since we've gone into this whole situation with the last year, that this is definitely my time where I felt most growth. You know what I mean? That's, like, as I said, I'm only in this last 4 or 5 years, but definitely with people, I feel that I'm in a place now that I would be a better coach through what I have learned as well. And, you know, that's where I hope that I can pass this on to people in a lot better sense over the next couple of years. And that's the road I feel that I'm going down. But definitely doing the work that we've been doing puts me in a better place, that I feel a lot more comfortable to share this passion. And exactly why, you know, you've seen it on Instagram the last day, I felt like I'm leaning into this discomfort. Like, it's not easy for me to talk about such things, but I believe now there's so much value in them that you're kind of like, you're doing yourself a favor. But if you don't do this and you don't let people know about what you're doing, then you're doing a disservice to the world, basically, because someone out there is listening to what we say, you know. And that's definitely been the number one thing I will take away, is that I want to add value to people's lives. Before, it was always about the training, always about the nutrition, and, you know, I was comfortable to talk about that, comfortable to give people workouts, but to show them how much this work will do for them now is definitely what I'm looking forward to the most, to get this out to other people. And, you know, by you sharing this podcast, again, like, you know, more people will hear it and hopefully more people will benefit. So again, it's all about, you got to help yourself before you can help everyone else. So that's hopefully what is happening at the moment.
Man, this is why I started this Coach's Corner segment, right? It was because I have these fucking amazing conversations with dudes like yourself, that with, you know, friends and colleagues in the industry, and they're always fucking great conversations, and everyone thinks that they're special. Everyone thinks that they're, you know, different to everyone else, but ultimately everyone goes through the fucking same stuff, including us. You know, the difference is we've educated ourselves on certain aspects of, you know, improving health and fitness, and health is not just how you look. You know, it is everything. It is, you know, your mindset. It is your health. It is your, just the way that you fucking live your life, man. There's so many aspects to that. I want to start winding up the episode, mate, because I'm wary of your time, and I have held you a little bit longer than anticipated. So sorry about that, bro. Do you need to run?
No, man, I'm good. I'm easy. Yeah.
All right, a couple more minutes, mate. A couple more minutes. So I want you to, can you reflect on 2020 and talk about some of the lessons that you took away from that year and what you're looking to move towards in 2021?
Yeah, so the lessons learned from 2020 was that giving myself that chance to slow down. Like, I knew I was running around in circles. Running around in circles is one thing, but I was doing what I loved. Like, and I still am doing what I love. But to be able to come back to Perth, take a seat, chill out, kind of get my head together again and see the vision that I want to portray for the future. You know, like, for instance, I would have been working in 2 or 3 gyms at a time in Bali. I was doing it here at the start. I'm like, no, you've already been given that lesson. And, like, I have certainly learned from that. Going towards the future, I suppose it is the lessons learned from 2021 has definitely been just slow down. Everyone just needs to slow down. Without pushing it on people, it's a case of, it is a hard time for everyone. Like, we're all experiencing a hard time. We all want to help. Everyone wants to help one another. And, you know, maybe you're sitting at home and you feel that, you know, you don't have to be a coach to help someone. Like, it's something simple as a phone call to your friend can really help people out. And, you know, us as coaches, like, yes, we've just happened to go down the road of the health and fitness, and like we're very lucky. Like we feel that it's a massive part of people's lives. You know, it certainly is a massive part of my life, and a lot of people are a lot more health conscious and, you know, want to learn from other people. And the truth is, you know, if these people sitting at home feel like there's too much work to do, there is a lot of work to do, but just go easy on yourself. You know, it's never too late to start. Whatever it is, if they're in a job over the last couple of months, lucky enough to still have a job, maybe they had a job and it's now being taken from them, and they can actually go and do something else that they really want to do, because whoever's listening to this podcast wants to move forward. That's for sure. You know, and again, it's a case of, yeah, okay, I have a passion. Working in an office isn't my passion. Maybe I need to do that for a certain amount of time to make money so that I can go and live my passion. You can be doing a little passion project on the side. You could be doing a little weekend course, you know, and it's very hard to commit to these things at the start. You're like, oh, I don't have the time. But if it means a lot to you, you'll make the time and you'll do the work. And, you know, a year from now or 2 years from now, you'll be doing exactly what it is you want to do if you go do it now. So like, don't be afraid to start. It's never too late. And, yeah, you know, ask the questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. And like, there's been plenty of times this year where I've needed help, and I've gone and asked, and it's hard. And like, I'm very fortunate to know people that can kind of guide you in that way. And yeah, you know, if I can ever help anyone, or if you can help anyone, all they have to do is like give a shout out, and yeah, you know, you'll have an answer for them, hopefully.
Man, brilliant answer. Thank you very much. To round out the episode, what does it mean to live life to the fullest, train to your potential, and perform at your best?
I suppose to live to my potential is to just show up every day for myself, and then to show up for others. That's one big thing that I was guilty of the last couple of years. There's days I just didn't show up for myself, and I was given that lesson. And it kept coming back up. It's like, you're not showing up today. You haven't showed up for a week. And that's something I wanted to get better at. And for anyone out there that's like, you know, wants to get back into the gym, I seen this recently and it's just stuck with me. It's like six words to describe fitness. And it's like, structure your strength, vary your conditioning. And, you know, if you just get a 12-week plan and you stick with your strength phase, you know what I mean? Maybe it's only 3 days a week. And then you vary your conditioning. It can be aerobic, walking, running, whatever it is you enjoy doing. Do what it is you enjoy doing, and, you know, don't complicate it, please. We've been doing it for years.
Yeah. Mate, that is awesome. Structure your strength and vary your conditioning. Where did you get that from?
No, you know what? I seen it on someone's Instagram, and then I couldn't find it. But when I hashtagged the structure your strength, Noah Olsen shows up. So he maybe has something to do with it. But yeah, when I seen that, I was like, right, like, it's so simple, you know. Nice. And it is, I was going to
say, I'm going to steal that, but I need to credit someone.
Well, you're crediting me now.
Adrian Allen. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Awesome, mate. I appreciate your time, man. Where can people find you?
Nice and simple. Adrian Allen on Instagram. And then if you need to email me or whatever the case may be, adrianallencoaching@gmail.com. And yeah, a lot of the time spent on Instagram, too much time spent on Instagram, trying to curveball that, trying to work on that. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, please reach out. I have plenty of time. I can ask or answer any of your questions. That's no problem whatsoever.
Love it, mate. I really appreciate your time, bro. I'll have all of those links in the show notes. Yeah. Ado, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate. Really appreciate it. Let's do this again soon.
Absolute pleasure, Shaun. Thank you very much. Legend.
And that rounds out this 90-minute conversation with Adrian Allen. I really appreciate Adrian's time. I met Ado a couple of years ago in Thailand when I was coaching at Tiger and he was coaching at Unit 27. They were actually in competition with each other, but it's been really cool to watch his evolution as a coach over the last couple of years, watch him grow and maintain that relationship and communication. So Ado, if you're listening, mate, I really appreciate your time, brother. Anyone who did enjoy this conversation and thinks that their friends and family can benefit from it, please make sure you send them the link for all of these episodes. And if you enjoy the Live, Train, Perform podcast, please make sure you leave me a 5-star rating and review. Much love, guys. Peace.